Hi, and welcome to the Strangely Specific Movie Awards. I'm Drew of Drew into Review, and with me I have my friend. Can I get your name again?
Lord Spankums?
Lord Spankums?
Yes.
That was not the name that you put on the resume.
I know, it's because people are prejudiced against such a strange and unusual and foreign name.
Actually, I was going to say that it's pretty boring. I know a lot of Lord Spankums.
Oh, wow.
This is America, my friend. Hey, wait, weren't you on the podcast before?
Yes.
Oh, right, you're Nick.
Yeah, I'm Nick.
Okay, hey Nick, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Welcome back.
Thanks for having me.
Are you excited to be here?
I am.
All right, well, you are going to help me do what we always do on this show. We're going to pick 3 different award categories, and I have pre-selected some nominees for these award categories. The catch? They're strangely specific.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
So, why don't we just jump right into it with our very first award? Are you ready, Nick?
Uh-huh.
This first award, I will admit, I did not spend too much time trying to phrase it, and it is a bit of a mouthful, so I'm just going to kind of go for it, and whatever comes out of my mouth, those are the words that we have to judge these nominees by, okay?
Okay.
Best instance of somebody climbing up an intimidating structure without the support of safety ropes.
Okay.
Now, that wasn't too bad.
No.
That was pretty coherent. Okay.
Now, would you count structures as like natural formations of the earth, like a mountain?
Yes. Yes. In fact, one of the nominees involves a mountain.
Okay.
We have Free Solo.
Oh, yeah, that's a big mountain-related thing.
Mm-hmm. And we have Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol.
Yeah, there was a lot of climbing in that. Tom Cruise loves climbing things.
But specifically, you remember the shot. Oh, wait a minute. We went to see this movie together in theaters, right? Isn't the story that...
Was Ghost Protocol Mission Impossible 4?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, we did.
Okay, so Tom Cruise climbing the tallest building in the world, I believe it was the big show-stopping, this is why you buy your ticket moment in the movie.
Yeah.
I believe I went to see this with you, and if legend tells this correctly, did you not go to the bathroom during that scene? I think that's what I heard.
It's been a while. I do go to the I try to avoid going to the bathroom during a movie I can't pause, but when nature calls, nature calls.
Yeah, and you've got nature on speed dial.
Yeah, I was watching Uncut Gems once, and I had a horrific need, and it was during one of the most tense moments, and I had to look up the Wikipedia summary because I thought I'd be in the bathroom so long I'd miss the end of the film, so I spoiled the end of the film for myself, and there were still 15 minutes left, so I knew what would happen, and it kind of spoiled it for me, but it was still very good.
Wow, that was a very intimate answer to the question I asked.
That's a look into my life.
Thank you.
But I don't remember about Ghost Protocol.
I'm gonna assume
it was yes, probably.
Do you think you've seen the movie since then?
I don't think so.
Okay, so there's a chance that you still haven't seen the big show-stopping scene. Wow.
I saw it in a trailer.
Okay, well, you get the gist of it, right?
Yeah.
Climbing with these special gloves, but there's no harness or anything like that. Yes, the gloves are some useful technology. Mm-hmm. We have to give them that.
Yeah.
But it's still a pretty daunting proposition.
I'd say so.
Now, what do you know about Free Solo?
Isn't it a documentary about a mountain climbing dude?
Yes. Essentially, what free soloing is, it's and I'm going to simplify this perhaps too much. It's an act of climbing up a mountain without any of the safety gear. You just raw dog in that mountain.
I don't know if that's the phrase you want to use for that.
I think that they should call it mountain raw dogging, but we have Free Solo instead.
Gotcha.
And it was pretty impressive. I don't want to spoil it, but he made it to the top without dying.
Oh, you son of a bitch.
Oh, right. I spoiled it.
Ah, no. nuts.
But it was impressive. It was impressive, and it was real, as far as I know. Maybe they'll debunk it at some point.
Okay.
But which one was the most, whatever the award was? Can you recite it for me?
From memory. Something about climbing a intimidating structure without any kind of support or ropes or whatnot.
Any safety ropes, I think I might have said.
Before we pick officially, could I contribute?
Oh, of course. I think that it's fair enough to give you a moment to put forth any nominees you'd like to propose.
Would you say 127 hours counts? Though he didn't do much climbing. He was mostly stuck.
Yeah, I did think about that when mulling over nominees, and yeah, that would be more of like the best vlogger award. But
He did do a solid vlog of
Yeah.
losing his mind.
there is a good chunk of vlogging. I don't know about the climbing though.
Okay, so another one that comes to mind is Sam and Frodo climbing Mount Doom in Lord of the Rings: The Return of the King.
Ooh. Now, Mountain Doom. I was about to ask the question, is this an intimidating structure? And because listen, I've seen the movies, so I know the answer to that question, but for someone that hasn't, Mountain Doom could be a very misleading name.
Yeah, it's like naming it Iceland and it has green stuff and Greenland has ice stuff. It's like that.
Misnomers exist. That's all I'm saying.
But yeah, Mount Doom's the most intimidating structure, one could say.
It is pretty intimidating, and I do think that I accept that as a nominee.
Okay.
Are you comfortable with 3 nominees to lock in? Because if
And the fourth?
you want to add a 4th,
Oh, no. I miscounted. Never
yeah,
mind.
we got 3.
Okay.
Is that
Yeah,
good
we'll
for
lock
you?
them in. Yeah.
All right, locked in. Let's discuss. Well, one of these is real.
Free Solo?
Yes,
I was going to say Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings is a documentary.
it depends on who you ask, I suppose, but
Yeah.
I'm going to say Free Solo is the real one. And that is very impressive. The fact that it actually happened, because no one actually climbed Mount Doom. And I don't think allegedly Tom Cruise actually did his own stunt with scaling that building, but I imagine,
There were some safety precautions in place.
yes. But we don't necessarily have to determine the winner based on reality.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, reality is impressive, but is it the best? I don't know. I mean, this is a movie-centric podcast. We don't...
Yeah.
I mean, that can include documentaries, but a lot of what we deal in is some
Fiction.
fictional hoo-ha.
Yeah.
So it's tough.
It's hard to say with Free Solo. Again, the reality thing is a major component, but in terms of danger, who would you say was the most at danger out of the 3 of them? And not danger from like ring wraiths or orcs or anything, but danger from the sheer face of the structure itself.
I've been meaning to rewatch the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Here's my question about Mountain Doom. I know that in Mission Impossible, Ghost Protocol, and in Free Solo, if these characters fell, they would die. They would certainly die.
Yeah.
I don't remember that necessarily being the case for Mount Doom. I feel like if you fell on Mount Doom, you might take a bit of a fall, but
Yeah.
it didn't necessarily...
It wasn't a steep drop
Yeah. Yeah, it seems like there might have been places to land.
besides the lava, but that's inside Mount Doom, so that doesn't.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it depends on which direction you fall, of course.
Right.
That does matter.
Yeah.
But, if you burn from lava, it's a more painful death, but it's death nonetheless.
Yeah.
So, technically equally dangerous. We don't need to measure how painful the death is.
Right. That's not the factor in the nomination.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I almost don't know that Lord of the Rings is the most intimidating structure.
That's fair.
And it's Mount Doom. So, I mean, we really got a problem here.
Yeah, I guess we do.
Now, there was a lot of spectacle going on in Ghost Protocol
Yeah.
that made that climb especially exciting.
Were there people shooting at him while he was trying to climb?
I don't think so, but there was a lot of that well-crafted tension, things
Yeah.
like that. There was
Right.
other stuff going on at the same time. And of course, this is all a part of a big secret mission. So it was a lot of fun. Free Solo, I'm not going to say it's not fun, but it technically lacked some of those elements.
Sure.
He wasn't on a secret mission is what I'm trying to say.
Ah,
But it's hard to hold them accountable for that because I feel like it's going to be really difficult to get a real life movie of someone free soloing a giant
secret
mountain.
agent.
Yeah. I need to have more reasonable expectations.
right.
So it's kind of just coming down to how much the fact that one of these is real plays into the fact of how impressive it was. Though, what did I say? I did say the most impressive, I think. Most impressive climbing of an intimidating structure without using safety ropes.
Well, I imagine Tom Cruise would have a lot of flourishes in his climb, and it'd be very stylish. While the reality man in Free Solo may not be as like intense looking or camera friendly.
Yeah, and I mean, I really feel like I have to side with Free Solo because just the fact that it's real does make it more impressive. Yes, in the moment, it was more exciting to watch Ghost Protocol. I mean, depending on how you rank things, but I don't think excitement necessarily matters. We're going by the most impressive.
Yeah.
And Free Solo just seems to be the most impressive to me. I mean, they both take an immense amount of courage. But also, okay, Free Solo, the character used a lot of techniques, and it took a lot of physical endurance to climb that thing. I'm not saying it didn't take physical endurance for Tom Cruise's character to scale that skyscraper, but it was a lot of the same motions, just lift this hand, stuff like that. Where in Free Solo, there were a lot of techniques used. I gotta give it to Free Solo. I've got to. That just, overall, as a climbing experience, I feel there was more to be gained from watching it.
I think that's fair. I think you've convinced me to go for Free Solo as well.
Were you not leaning toward Free Solo for a bit?
If you were measuring impressiveness by the journey beforehand, then it would go to Lord of the Rings. But we're
That's
just
true.
measuring it in the instant of the climbing.
Yeah, and I think we took a lot of factors into it. How impressive the climb is on its own, the risk of danger.
Yep.
And, we should, to be fair, take into account the abilities of the people performing this. I mean, they were mere hobbits. They weren't equipped for this, where
Right.
Tom Cruise and the person from Free Solo, they did a lot of preparation.
That's true.
But even with that considered, I still feel like all things considered, Free Solo edges out the competition here.
I think that's acceptable. I think I can agree with that.
All right, Free Solo is our first winner of today's episode.
Excellent.
Are you ready to move on to the next award?
I am.
The next award is Best Disturbingly Large Rabbit.
Oh, I already got one in mind, but you
We
say
have Wallace and Gromit, The Curse of the Were-Rabbit,
yours. Ah, yes.
and we have Rise of the Guardians with the Easter Bunny. Now, some people might say that's a bunny, not a rabbit, but bunnies, as far as I know, are young rabbits, and clearly that Easter Bunny was an adult. So I think we have another misnomer here. And I think it's safe to say that was the Easter Rabbit. Mm-hmm. And also quite large. Disturbingly large, you might even say.
Huh.
Any contributions you'd like to make?
I've got a big one right off the bat. Frank the Bunny in Donnie Darko.
Wow. But here's the thing.
He's not a real bunny.
Well, I don't know. Well, A, bunnies don't count. It has to be
He's
a rabbit.
not a real rabbit.
Are you, in the context of the movie, is that true?
In the context of the movie, he's some kind of dimension traveling demon man.
But is it specifically somebody in a rabbit costume, or could it potentially be a rabbit?
Well, in the context of reality within the movie, it's a guy who took a rabbit costume off and then Donnie Darko shot in the face. But in Donnie Darko's head, it could be a rabbit. Because there's the Frank in reality who is a person dressing up, and there's Frank the Bunny in Donnie's head.
I remember why I haven't rewatched Donnie Darko.
It's very confusing.
Yeah, I feel like I need to side on maybe not quite a rabbit in this case. It just seems like there's too much going on to really lock in that this is a rabbit character.
I suppose that's fair.
No, that was a very, very solid contribution.
Okay.
I totally overlooked. And there aren't many costumed rabbits that I know of, so...
What about, I feel like there was a movie that inspired Frank the Bunny about a guy who also imagined another bunny named Frank.
Oh, that's true. I think there was a Jimmy Stewart movie
I think it was
called
Jimmy Stewart.
Harvey or something
Harvey,
like that.
I think that was it.
I do think that I need to try to get some context from the trailer here. I'm going to see if there's any actual imagery or if they do that thing where you're going to have to see the movie to see the rabbit. But what? Yeah, they're just not showing the rabbit. This is a bunch of hooey. It's tough to know. It is, I mean, it certainly looks like a rabbit.
But it also might be a person in a costume. But since it's inside his head, I believe that's the premise. We can never say for sure if it is a true rabbit or not.
That's true, but even if imaginary, I do think it is
It
imagined.
has to be a physical rabbit in the real world, you're saying?
I don't think it necessarily has to be real, but it does have to be identifiable as a rabbit.
And not like in a humanoid shape.
And not a rabbit hybrid, not a person in a rabbit costume, not a rabbit-like creature, but a rabbit. And you know what? I think Harvey counts.
Okay.
It seems to count to me, according to Wikipedia. It's a 6 foot, 3.5 inch invisible rabbit.
Huh. Okay.
And that sounds terrifying. Now, I haven't seen Harvey,
Me neither.
unfortunately, but I think that's good. I want to lock that in.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. We have that locked in as well. Now, Winnie the Pooh, actually.
Would you consider rabbit disturbing?
No, because honestly, the size probably fits. He seems disturbingly large, but I mean, if you compare him to the owl, because most of those characters are stuffed animals. Weirdly, though, rabbit and owl are not. And I think I don't know about kangaroo. I think they're real too, but either way, I'm pretty sure the rabbit is probably not disturbingly large.
No.
think
The only
rab-
disturbing thing about him is his mental health.
And his attitude.
Yeah.
But okay, let's mull this over.
Okay.
I don't know anything about Harvey. It's
But
almost
just from the image alone.
yeah. But how do I know that they're real images? What if this is doctored? It doesn't look doctored. It looks pretty real. Let me see.
So are we measuring just on disturbingness or what?
Harvey, the disturbing size. If it looks disturbing, then that's fine.
The fact that he's 6'3" is a disturbing size, I think.
Yeah. I mean that's a very tall, but you know what? It's the best disturbingly large rabbit.
Okay, so
So we already know all three of these nominees meet the criteria for being disturbingly large. Now it's time to decide which one is the best. Which of these disturbingly large rabbits do we favor? Now, I'm going to rule out Harvey because just doing a basic search, I'm having a lot of trouble just finding Harvey. I just don't. I mean, maybe Harvey's just not too popular a movie, which is unfortunate. I shouldn't hold that against it. But, you know, the fact that Harvey doesn't seem to appear that often, I mean, especially at the very least compared to some of these other characters. Now, I admit, neither of us have seen the movie, so maybe it's a somewhat bad idea that we made this a nominee. Maybe Harvey could have been a winner here, but we're going to rule out Harvey just because Harvey doesn't seem to have as much of a presence as these other rabbits.
that's fair.
I was not a fan of the rabbit from Rise of the Guardians. Did you see that movie?
No.
Oh, I did not like it.
Why? What was...
Don't get me started, Buster Brown.
Okay.
But I'll say this much: the rabbit had an attitude problem, in my opinion.
Uh-oh.
The rabbit was voiced by Hugh Jackman, had an Australian accent,
Interesting.
very gruff and tough.
Wait, the Easter Bunny was Australian?
Yes.
I don't know if Easter's an Australian holiday.
Shh. It's okay.
Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, it's been a while since I saw the movie, and I'm thankful for that every day. But I just remember most of the characters in that movie were pretty cocky, and I felt their narcissism was not quite deserved, in my opinion. I didn't feel what they were doing was really that... I was going to say meretricious, but that means
I don't know
like
what that means.
Alluding to a prostitute.
Oh.
Maybe meritorious is...
I'll take your word on that. Wasn't that movie basically just the Avengers with holiday characters?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a pretty fair summation of it. So that really just kind of leaves Curse of the Were-Rabbit. Have you seen that movie?
I feel like I did, but I don't have any memory of it. Like, I love all Wallace and Gromit things.
Well, I don't want to spoil this for you, but the Were-Rabbit is a pretty fun character. And when you get to know him, you realize, wow, he's even more lovable than I could have imagined.
Wow.
I like the Were-Rabbit a lot. It is disturbingly large, but I think it's a great character. And of all these movies, well, no, I was going to say it's the only one that the movie revolves around, but that's probably the case with Harvey as well, I imagine.
Yeah.
Though Harvey seems...
It's more about the dude's psychosis, I feel like.
Yeah.
And imagining the rabbit than the rabbit actually being there. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
I, regardless, would like to give it to Were-Rabbit.
I think that's fair. I will agree with you. Again, there's no conflict here.
Well, great.
Yep.
I love it when we can get along.
Me too.
So, we're going to move on to our very last award for the night.
Alrighty.
This is Best Urination on Live Television.
Okay.
Now, let me just see. Do you have any nominees that you'd like to propose?
You're going to have to give me a minute because this is a very specific set of
You have
circumstances.
5 seconds.
Okay.
How about I give you my nominees first?
Go ahead.
Give you some time to think.
Go ahead.
All right. So we have A Star Is Born from 2018.
I love that. And it wasn't supposed to be funny, but I laughed because I hate Bradley Cooper.
Yeah, it was...
Not Bradley Cooper. I hate the smugness of the movie.
I don't like A Star Is Born as a story in any of its incarnations.
Yeah.
But yes, that was urinating on the Grammys stage, which is televised. So we can
Yes.
deduce that it was urinating on live television.
Delightful.
And have you thought of any other nominees yet?
No.
No, that's okay. Listen, it makes you inferior, but that's something that you get to struggle with. Okay?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
All right. The other nominee that I have is Magnolia,
Oh.
because there's a little boy
On the quiz show.
who's unable to urinate during a commercial break and winds up peeing while the game show is being taped.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, urinating on live television. And you've seen both of these movies, right, Nick?
I have.
So, why don't we start with you? What do you think is the best urination on live television?
It depends on what criteria we are using for best, because if it's funniest, then I'd have to go with A Star Is Born, but not through any normal person's criteria, just through my own personal enjoyment of what is actually a sad man's spiral into addiction, but I didn't take it seriously, so for me it was amusing. And if we're talking about like most traumatic and heartrending, it would have to go to Magnolia, because this little kid's being forced to do this quiz show when he wants to have his own life, and his dad's making him do this whole quiz show thing he doesn't want to do, and it's just sad seeing him break down and lose control.
You know, it is interesting because just in trying to judge these urination scenes based off what the writers and the makers of the movies were intending, they are both very sad and heartrending scenes. I mean, I'm surprised that we don't have any nominees that are more joyous, like a joyous urination on live TV. That, maybe they're out there and we just haven't found them yet. But these are both very sad. You wouldn't think urinating on live television would be so sad.
Yeah.
I'm being sarcastic. But, as sad as they both are, I do feel like the one in A Star Is Born is sadder because one of these people is completely broken. The boy, he urinated, but it's not really his fault. It's the world around him that he's in that kind of forced him into that point.
You could technically say the same thing about Bradley Cooper's character. Addiction is no one's fault.
You could. And I'm certainly not blaming him for it, but when you look at Bradley Cooper urinating,
Just a funny
when you
sentence.
really study the stream slowly going down.
Moving on.
It feels sadder to me because in this case, addiction, while blameless, it's affecting who he is, where I don't feel that just because Stanley, the boy from Magnolia, pissed his pants, it didn't seem like it really took as much away from his character
That's true.
when he peed his fucking pants.
Yeah.
So it's tricky. One is I would say definitely more tragic.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say definitely because it is a close race in terms of tragic urination.
Yeah, because I mean, also, you're forgetting in the context of the movie, well, I'm sure you're not forgetting, but William H. Macy's character is a reflection of what that boy could become. And
That's true.
And William H. Macy's character's life is like this horrible, tragic thing. And his whole life was centered around the quiz show, and he loved it. And it shows what child stardom does to someone. And if that proves to be true for this kid, then that urination could be just the start of a downward spiral.
Now, I will say there are other criteria beyond tragedy.
Sure.
In terms of being memorable, they are both memorable, aren't they? But for different reasons.
Yeah.
One was memorable for being pathetic, and not in terms of the context of the writing, but in terms of the filmmakers. A Star Is Born's urination scene just kind of fell flat for, I think, both of us.
Yes.
So it is memorable in that it's probably the thing I remember the most from that movie. If I'm being completely right,
In the Sherler.
if I'm being
the only
honest,
thing I remember too.
that song was playing on the radio a lot, and I still think more about Bradley Cooper peeing. Yeah,
That's totally fair. It's like, for me, it's Bradley Cooper peeing and Sam Elliott being Sam Elliott.
I forgot Sam Elliott was in. Now,
That's
if Sam
fair.
Elliott
That's fair.
was peeing as well, then we'd really have something.
If they were both peeing on stage at once, Sam Elliott's peeing in solidarity with Bradley Cooper, like, it's okay, Bradley. Look, I peed too.
Now that's brotherhood. Lady Gaga should have peed
She
for
should have
her
peed.
husband.
Yeah.
Yeah. She
what's-
tried
what's the deal with
covering
that?
him up, but what she should have done is just stood there and let it all out.
She's like, peeing is normal. Look, everyone, peeing on the stage of the Grammys. It's chill.
Best new artist, my butt. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
But that's not the award we're focusing on.
No.
I think that the context for the urination in Magnolia was a lot more riveting, and I think it played a lot better.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just a child who desperately has to go to the bathroom and is being denied the opportunity and is expected to perform well and pees.
Yeah.
I mean, when Bradley Cooper peed in A Star Is Born, the scene just kind of ended there. It was really tragic and sad, but it's like you don't really have any questions about what's
Yeah.
going to happen next. You're like, this is very sad. When Stanley pees in Magnolia, you go, oh man, what's gonna happen next? He's in the middle of a game show. How is he gonna get out of this one?
Yeah.
And that's very compelling to me. But we've talked about tragedy factor. We've talked about entertainment factor. Is there, I would be remiss. We should talk about the pee itself.
It's hard to tell because they're both wearing pants. There's no stream involved.
That's true, but you do see pee in both of these. You see wetness. Now, how vividly do you remember the urination?
I more just remember the events themselves, less so the specific waste disposal.
I do feel Bradley's urination was pretty. I mean, obviously Bradley is an adult man.
And that affects the level of pee you
And
get.
yeah, the peeing was more sensational, I think. Also, the white pants certainly helped. I believe he was wearing light-colored pants, so it really highlighted the yellow of his urine. Where Stanley, you don't have to laugh quietly. You can,
I'm trying to be polite to let you continue your serious analysis of urination.
Stanley was wearing jeans, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
Not great for showcasing urine, and also
No.
Paul Thomas Anderson didn't dwell on it quite as much visually. You saw just enough to pee to know, oh, that boy just peed his pants.
Yeah.
And
Also, if we're thinking about the aftermath, if I recall correctly, his dad gets super pissed at him.
yes, the dad gets upset.
That makes it even worse in a way. That compounds the tragedy of it.
Oh, and I mean, things go bonkers on that game show.
Yeah.
Because of the fact Stanley urinated, he refused to stand up for a portion of the game show where everyone wanted him to stand up, and then he wound up giving this really depressing soliloquy.
Yeah, that was rough.
So it is true that A Star is Born has probably the most tragic pee and the most plentiful pee, the most prominent pee.
Yes.
But entertainment is key. Mm-hmm. Now, am I saying that Magnolia would be even better if there was way more pee and it was even sadder? Absolutely.
Okay. Wait. Another fact we need to take into account is state of mind. Because Bradley was totally smashed and gone. He wasn't even thinking about it. Stanley was completely in the moment, witnessing all this existential dread of pissing yourself.
That's true. You have to take into account, did they want to pee? What was the motivation? Stanley clearly did not want to pee.
He was filled to bursting.
But Bradley, I don't know if
could've
Bradley
just let
wanted
loose.
to pee or not. It's hard. He could have been doing it on accident, or he could have absolutely wanted to pee in that moment.
Yeah, because he wasn't thinking because he was so smashed.
I would guess that he didn't want to pee
Yeah,
in that
no, it was
moment.
more of an accidental, let loose thing.
Yeah, which, honestly, it makes Magnolia more compelling, right?
Yeah.
The fact that you really don't want to do something and it just happens. It's
Yeah.
more tragic.
Yeah.
I mean, if Bradley was drunk out of his mind, but then just started, oh no, I don't want to pee. No, please, please, God.
In front of
Lord Jesus, don't let me pee at the Grammys, oh God. And
Not
then
in
he
front of
peed.
Pharrell. Please, not in front of Pharrell.
But this was a tough race.
It was.
I think I got to give it to Magnolia.
I think I do too. Plus, I don't want to give any kind of award, even if it's a gag award, to A Star is Born.
That is very fair.
Yes.
So we have our winner, and we have another ending to the Strangely Specific Movie Awards. I want to thank everybody for listening. I especially want to thank you for donating what you have donated and supporting Drew and to Review. I very, very much appreciate it, and what you give goes a long way. Thank you for helping me do what I love, talking about urination. Nick, did you enjoy yourself?
I enjoyed all the urination analysis.
You want to urinate right now?
Yeah, I think I just might.
All right. What color pants do you have on?
Blue.
Not gonna do it.